Listen here. Some of y'all are going to ruin work from home for all of us. And just because you don't care about your job don't mean that we don't.
My company got hit with an RTO mandate. Let's talk about it.
So, this is a real reason they don't want you working from home?
Hello, everybody. I'm pretty sure before, in a different video, we talked about work from home, right?
Maybe briefly.
Briefly.
Yeah.
You have experience with work from home.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically how you just to get money in general.
Yeah.
But I feel like that it's going to be ruined. I think it's already ruined.
Yeah, people are kind of in the process of ruining it now. And then, you have companies putting in, enforcing some type of come into the office. Well, return to the office mandate is what it's called.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what it is.
You don't want to ruin work from home forever for everybody, but that's kind of where it's going because people are oversharing on the internet and just not doing their work when they're working from home, and companies don't like that.
Because I really do see that because I say this with homework. I don't think it's really that easy taxable. When you're doing it at home, you need to get really procrastinating. There's so many things to take your information, not take information, take your attention away.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's going on here.
Listen here. Some of y'all are going to ruin work from home for all of us. And just because you don't care about your job don't mean that we don't. Some of y'all don't deserve to work from home. If you all make us get back in office because you want to play around, I'm going to have to see you for it. Why did I just get somebody calling my phone? And mind you, our team is not that big. She's like, yeah, somebody on your team I just spoke to. And when they answered the phone, there was no answer. And I said, okay, what did you hear? And she tells me, well, all I heard was couches moving and furniture moving. And, it sounds like water was running. I'm like, oh, she's she's cleaning. I had to make up for this phone call some way, somehow, and assure her she ain't hear what she heard. Even though I was kind of like, if you would have heard my tone, you would have been like, girl, I know you lying. You only saying it to protect your teammate, which I was, but stuff like that gets reported because we have to document every single interaction. So what do I say to this? What do I put in the person was calling because I don't like being put in this situation. I get it. We at home. It's easy to do what you want to do, but I do not abuse the power to work from home because I know I do not want to work in the office. One thing about it is I'm going to make sure my work is done. Then we go into the meeting, the virtual meeting, and the same person is being called on in the meeting by our supervisor, right? And we get into the meeting and they call her name and she's nowhere to be found. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I know we're all at home like, girl, get on the mic. They're calling you. And they do this thing where if you don't say anything back within a certain amount of time, they just assume that you're not at your desk when it's time to be at your desk. If we end up having to go into this building, listen here.
I will say this, the last part. I get it. What if? Now, what if you're having connection issues?
I mean, sure. But I feel like sometimes they can tell, especially with the previous interaction. They're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Because here's the thing. You guys with the meeting, you can still do work at home jobs while doing other things. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're using a laptop. You can take time management. You can take it anywhere with you. So who does deep cleaning while working?
I don't get it.
That's a weekend activity.
Exactly. But if you like the privilege of working from home, then you have to treat it like you're at the office, because at that point, oh, it's not as fun, but it is though, because you're still at home. You're just treating it like it's still a job because it is.
Yeah. Honestly, that computer's going to be in front of me the entire day unless I'm going to the bathroom or cooking.
Yeah.
But if it is, even if I'm cooking, it's going to be facing me so I can see it.
Yeah, multitask.
Exactly.
How it should be.
If you're a remote worker whose computer is monitored and you've considered using mouse moving technology to make it look like you're doing more work than you are when you're remote, you might want to listen to this. Wells Fargo has fired over a dozen staffers for simulating keyboard activity. This is also known as mouse moving technology. You can buy a mouse jiggler on Amazon for about $20, and it basically moves your cursor around for you so that you can step away from your computer if for some reason your workplace is monitoring your activity on your work computer while you're working remote. This allows you to step away and make it seem like you are still working. I find it fascinating that Wells Fargo is monitoring employee activity and productivity on their work computers. But what I also find fascinating is that these staffers were in the wealth and investment management units. Like always, this tells us a lot about what's going on with the stock market right now. The market rally we're currently in has been so primarily driven by just a couple of AI stocks that I could see these individuals being like, there's just not much for us to do once we put our investment into the picks and shovels of AI. Like, we're good. But if you're going to monitor me anyway, fine, I'll get this mouse moving thing. More seriously, I find this point from The Verge really interesting. This idea that as the mouse moving technology continues to improve, so does the detection technology. So just something to keep in mind. Be careful out there. Your employer might be able to catch you if you are utilizing this in your work from home activities.
See, I want to know, what are you doing during this that you need to buy? You buying a $20 mouse mover where you can just walk by, move your mouse a little bit, and then walk off.
Exactly. Like, what?
That seems like waste of money and time.
It really does. Like, I would not be buying all of that. It's just like, what is the purpose? Where are you going?
They're probably going outside, doing all this party, fun stuff, whatever. Going all the way to the town center to get a Starbucks coffee.
Sir, ma'am, you have a job.
Hurry up.
Please get back to work.
It's dumb to me. It's just like wasted $20 to do something that you can do while walking past.
Exactly.
I think it's so funny that Amazon had this like huge return to office initiative only to halt it because they don't have enough space. Like, that's really embarrassing. Like, y'all thought that people would quit because of the return to office, but then they did it, and so now y'all don't have space. That truly brought me like all the holiday joy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, like, I would just like have some articles here and you can do your own research, but that made my night.
You're Amazon and you can't prepare.
It's Amazon. You think they would just fire them, right? Before they did that? Because they'd be firing everybody else already anyway. So they shut down so many warehouses.
Oh, yeah. We don't have room for all of you, so like half of y'all are fired. Get out.
You think they just do that? They're Amazon. They always do it. They're being called out for firing people for no reason. But they can't do it this time.
Exactly. I don't get it.
Me neither.
Is return to office just quiet layoffs in disguise? So, first of all, what's a quiet layoff? Well, a lot of people are saying that all of these companies that are making people return to the office when they've had really good success the last 3 years of working from home are just doing it so that they can get people to be like, I moved to Montana because you said we were always going to be remote and my lifestyle is way cheaper here and I'm not returning to the office. So they know that those people will quit. It's a lot cheaper for companies to do that than for the company to bring the people in, give them severance, a week of pay for each year that they were there, all that kind of stuff, give them a package to be able to transition them out without getting any lawsuits or any trouble. So companies have started to use this tactic of saying people have got to come back. Now, it doesn't mean that every single company that is having people return to office is doing it for this kind of nefarious reason. But, employees are not so innocent in this either. We also had employees really quiet quitting on companies throughout all this time. And there's some good reasons for that and some bad reasons for that too. That's another video. But here today, when we're talking about quiet layoffs, this is absolutely happening. And you can know when it's happening because there's a difference between a company that is struggling and the numbers aren't good and they're not having innovation and not having new products and not having new ideas and they're not moving forward. So they want to get people back together. That's a good reason to have return to office. Or smarter, if you want to have it really good for recruiting for your company, to have hybrid. But companies that are doing this, whose stock price is absolutely soaring and they're still having record quarters ever since COVID came, it's no good reason for this. It's no good reason to have return to office when the numbers are doing terrifically. So really, I mean, you have to look at it and try to figure out which is which. I want to know if you guys have experienced this. Have you experienced the quiet layoffs of being returned to office when the company is doing great, only to sit in your office to have a Teams meeting or a Zoom meeting with people that are just down the hall and you never get together anyway? So companies, don't do this. If you're going to bring people back, actually have them integrate. Don't just have them sit in their office just to do a online meeting anyway, so there's no reason for people to be back together. It makes absolutely no sense. Let people get rid of their commute. Let them take their kids to school. Let them be able to throw a load of laundry in on the lunch. This is silly. If the company's doing great, don't make people come back. If the company is struggling and it makes sense financially, then I understand bringing them back. Let me know your thoughts.
I'll say that last part makes a lot more sense to me. All these companies are doing really well. They're making record profits this year. There's no reason for this to be happening.
Honestly, all of this could have been an email, but this is exactly, I feel like the companies just want more control. So they just want you back in the office just because, and they want to monitor you and make sure that you're at your desk, but they'll be like, let's do a Zoom meeting. You're in the office though.
You know, I think it is. I feel like they realize they don't have the scare tactics in the wear down they have in the office when people are at home. People have more opportunity to find something that they can quit or they can do better.
Oh yeah, because they have more time too and they have flexibility. But what they can do, which a lot of people are doing now, well, the companies are, they have a requirement where you have to be on camera the entire time you're on your shift.
Not happening.
They monitor that. They monitor your screen and everything.
They want you to have to like do some taking a bathroom break call out in your Slack channels. I'm not doing that. I'm going to the bathroom. Exactly.
Like no BRB, none of that.
I'm not going to be there for 25 hours. I'll be right back. Go on.
And give us a log. Is it number 1? Is it number 2? Is it something else?
See, when I had that happen in Kroger, that made sense. I was gone for a second. They need to know where I'm at. Yeah. In case something happens or something is backed up, I need to be known. If I'm at home, I can take a computer with me. You want to see that? That's all I'm saying.
Not when you have to be on camera the whole time.
No, they're going to see everything. It's their fault.
Just be sure to make eye contact.
The entire time. Sorry. Continue.
Next video.
So a lot of job seekers have been getting catfished by companies because they say it's a remote job just to be called back into an office a few months later. So if you'd like to avoid this, I recommend applying specifically to remote first companies. And don't worry, I did the hard work of going through that Forbes list and pulling out the 8 that are actually remote first and what they're all hiring for. And what's also great is this is a really great mix of large businesses and small businesses. And I also had a resume client who worked at Twilio and they had nothing but good things to say about them. Now, the rest of the companies on that list are still a great option, but keep in mind they do have some sort of centralized office location. It made it clear that they're committed to remote work and flexibility, but because they aren't remote first, that could mean that your coworkers are actually in an office. Now, I am the self-proclaimed queen of remote work, so if finding a new remote job is one of your 2025 goals, don't forget to follow along. And who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, so I'd also appreciate if you followed along here. It's more fun. Everything's pink. You can't go wrong. So,
What's I did ask does arise the question, sorry. Like a lot of jobs I do see on that remote are in like New York or Miami or LA. If it's like time to go back to work, guys in the office, I'm screwed.
Exactly.
I live in Virginia.
That's how they get you. They want that to happen so that they can avoid the spotlight and the negative spotlight because like, oh, well, they couldn't relocate, so, and they will still look good.
And if I wanted to actually go and hunker down to make sure I can keep my job, I either have one move to where they're at and be paying way more, or two, I would have to make the longest commute ever.
And then imagine relocating for a job and then they still fire you. Because they can say that like, oh, we're not going to fire you, blah, blah, but then they can go back and fire you and it wouldn't be an issue.
And then you're stuck.
Yep.
Return to office mandates are costing people a ton of money. For a lot of people, return to office mandates are not just a shift in routine, it is a complete crisis. Remote work roles have been cut pretty much in half, and companies are starting to tout return to office mandates as like a cultural necessity for work. But it's no surprise that a bunch of new reports are saying that people are having skyrocketing stress, financial strain, and a lot of people are feeling pretty resentful. And it's threatening workplace stability. The disruption that's caused by return to office mandates is a lot more severe than leaders realize. And a survey of over 1,400 employees, U.S. employees, no surprise, found that workers are burned out, totally disengaged, and trying to find other work constantly. On average, people are spending about $560 a month more on commutes, childcare, finding in-home help. And for so many people, this is not sustainable. And all these commutes, 30 plus minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, both ways, and hitting traffic, it increases people's stress. People are feeling burned out. It's taking time away from family and any kind of work-life balance. And they keep talking about the necessity for this like culture in the workplace and returning to the office. But what they're getting is really resentful employees that do not trust their leaders. They are a lot less engaged and a lot less willing to invest themselves. Without some new major empathy-driven strategies, companies are really risking workplace culture collapse.
That's very true.
Yeah.
As someone said in the comments, it's basically a pay cut because you were making way more money and not spending as much. So now your whole budget's thrown off.
Yeah. That's why having a spreadsheet is important. So go to the resources section of our description. But anyways... It sucks and it ruins mental health. Like these jobs are ruining people's mental health and their well-being.
I ain't trying to sound like a baby, but there was moments where I would just be standing outside in the parking lot and I just start trying not to cry. I just hate it here so much.
Yeah, it sucks, especially when you have to work because you're in so much debt, which again is another reason why you want to get out of debt as fast as possible and avoid debt as much as you can, because this is how the system works. They keep you in debt so that you have to rely on your job.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So this is the real reason they don't want you working from home. So I was just in a meeting with like some really big tech people. This is like a conference style meeting, workshop. Like I am talking about, there's some really big names in this meeting. So we're talking and they do a presentation on the economy for 2025 and whatever. And like, that's what this meeting is for. And then one of the people asked this person, I won't mention the name, but they asked this person, how are you guys solving the issue of employees asking for more money and bigger raises in 2025 whenever like businesses aren't doing well? And he said, you got to get them to return to office. And I was like, not computing, right? Like I am literally like that meme. And his answer was, and I quote, because I can't make this up. Well, when people are working from home, they feel like they can exploit you more because a lot of your employees are doing side hustles, working remotely, working multiple jobs, doing all these things that they would not do when they're in your office. So they're making more money or they feel more financially safe because they have multiple sources of income or whatever it is. So when you get them to work from home, they're depending on you for their salary. So they're a lot less loud. I'm sitting here like, and everyone around me is taking notes.
They're taking notes. That legit sounds like slavery.
Oh yeah, write that down.
That is, I'm not even joking. I'm not going to try to equivalent working with slavery, but that is literally like the slave practice. Make them need you.
Exactly.
Don't let them think for themselves. That's crazy.
Because I actually hear that some jobs will turn down people who are renting rather than people who bought their homes because they know that this person is tied to their house and they need that job because they can't afford to lose their house or like flake on their mortgage.
That's really bad. That is like Satan level bad guy.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It sucks. Like, this is how the jobs really are. This is really sad.
You're mad evil. Yeah. That makes way more sense now.
Yeah.
She explained it so well.
She did.
That's crazy.
They don't want you working from home.
A quick note about forced return to office. I get it. I get it that it is nice as a leader to walk into an office and have people see you and adulate you. I get that it is nice as an organization to see your name on a high-rise building. I get it. I get the monuments. I get the legacy. I get the rush. But here's a reminder that flexible location policies is an investment and a commitment to seeing people as humans, where a forced return to work policies is a commitment to continuing to see people as just numbers.
Well, on the last video, don't let them read. The knowledge they get will be bad for you. You will have less control.
Yep. All of this is just ruining the relationship, the employer-employee relationship.
Yeah. Give her a like because not enough likes on this video. Yeah. That's crazy.
It ain't a good look.
Ain't a good look.
Don't let it happen.
My company got hit with the RTO mandate. Let's talk about it. So the RTO mandate, or the return to office, is something that just popped off starting with Amazon. It has now spread to a lot of other companies, not just including tech, JP and Goldman Sachs being one of the biggest ones. This is definitely something I'm not happy with, whether it's something for free layoffs or if it'll actually boost productivity. Just fire unproductive people. If your employees can't be trusted to work from home, then why are you hiring them anyway? There's no way office space is the major factor in this. Who wouldn't have thought that people working from home would mean an empty office? So why would you even create the positions in the first place? I do have a long commute, so it does affect me, so I'm not really sure how to feel about it. Let me know what y'all think about the return to office.
That car better have cruise control.
And when you have to commute hours to work, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know that Americans really do say this to especially people from non-America, hour-long commute. We usually have to commute 3 hours. That's not good.
It's not.
That's bad.
In the snow.
During the storms. There's demons on the streets just killing people. No, sorry. But it's bad. I don't need to relocate. One of your jobs gave you a bonus for relocation, even though you live in the area.
Yeah.
But I'm not relocating for a job that told me I can work here, because that really made it helpful. Not every state has a place. A lot of big, good companies are out of state. If I'm working in Wyoming and I'm working for a company in New York, I can't move. That's way too much.
Exactly. And I would not be relocating just for a job. It has to be a really good job because they can still fire me. So I would say it has to be one of those government jobs or whatever it's called, G5 plus whatever something, because apparently it's hard for them to fire you. At that point, that's the only way.
That's ridiculous.
Very ridiculous.
Work from home, people need to unionize, but it's probably really difficult to unionize amongst people who work from home.
Yeah, probably. And don't drive distracted.
Please stop recording while driving.
It's not safe.
It seems like every day another company is forcing their employees back into the office full time. And it doesn't seem like anybody is happy about these back to office mandates. But I do think they're especially harmful to moms, and we're not talking about this enough. Back to office mandates are likely going to force many women out of the workforce because now they have to choose between caring for their family and their children and their careers. Because what we know to be true is that in a dual income home, typically women take on the bulk of the responsibilities when it comes to childcare and domestic labor. And so they tend to be the people taking the more flexible jobs. They're working from home or hybrid, or they just have a more flexible job in general. And this job allows them to do things like take their kids to the doctor's appointments that they need to go to, or to volunteer at school once a month, or just to simply be there to drop their kids off at school in the morning. But when you force them back into the office, now they have to rearrange their whole life logistically, right? But also financially, it has huge implications. Now families are thinking about before school care, after school care, summer camp, extended day summer camp. These all come with a massive cost. And so families will now be looking at their careers and saying, can we continue to have this career, or will the cost of childcare make it so that one of us has to leave the workforce? And typically, as we know, women tend to be the parent to leave the workforce. I think these are harmful to women, and I think we should be talking about it more. It seems
We need a rosy derivative, but for women, in the technology field and work from home.
Yeah.
That dumb to say? I feel like it's smart to say. I'm just gonna say that.
I think I've actually seen one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I need to see that. Also, fun fact: the rosy derivative that you're thinking of right now is not the real one.
Hello.
So you know that. That's not the real rosy derivative. It's a completely different picture. That one was just something built off that, and it got more popular than the actual one.
Wow. Everything I know is a lie.
Everything you know is a lie. Yeah. That one was for a certain area.
Oh. Well, anyways. This is why you should never choose a career over your family, because the jobs don't even care about you in the first place. They will fire you. So I would just say,
In a heartbeat.
yeah, try to get in a good spot so that when you have a family, you can just kind of have the flexibility on your own and you don't have to worry about all of that or the crazy expenses, because it's like twice your mortgage or rent just to put kids in daycare or child care, whatever. Like, it's actually crazy.
Yeah. I'll say this because basically when I had we just moved, but before then, mom was working from home with her job. She had more time to make sure, because my grandma has some health issues. I feel more comfortable when she's with somebody else, but now I don't feel so comfortable because now she's off on some military base doing some auditing, and now my grandma's home alone too. Had multiple heart issues before, and like it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's better with her at home.
Yeah. But at least we live down the street, I guess.
That is the good part. So I'll say that. Anything happens, my niece probably just call us and I can run down there. I'll probably be faster than driving. Probably not. I'm really slow running.
Yeah, it's really sad though. I feel like everyone does need some type of flexibility though.
Yeah.
Family and mental health.
It truly is best. That best. The mental health thing is really good. Because nothing's more comfortable than being at home.
Yeah.
Unless you're alone, then you feel like going crazy.
Exactly.
Sucks.
Sometimes hybrid is better.
Yeah. Cause I'm say this ever since I quit Kroger and I've been at home more. I feel like my speech has gotten worse because being stuck, having forced to talk to people, it made me talk better. But now I'm talking way worse.
Well, now you have this.
Hey, I'm still sucked at talking. Anyway,
Well.
yeah. Well, anything you want to add?
Don't throw your life away for the jobs. It's not worth it. It never will be.
No, it's not.
I don't care how much they pay.
That's a good life lesson, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, please comment, like, or subscribe. That's your word.
Well, I usually say and subscribe.
Oh.
And please share the video and please get us to 1,000 subscribers. But thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.